Howdy folks, Doc here with Last Best Tool. And today let's take a closer look at the Granfors Bruk splitting hatchet and splitting hatchets in general. Now this guy is a handmade Swedish forged axe made in Sweden. Here are the initials of the gentleman who forged it. It's not a very common item. This is kind of an exclusive use tool. Doesn't have a lot of use. It's not a general hand hatchet. It's not a full-on splitting maul. I've got all those. It's a hand maul, if you will, or a splitting hatchet, which is kind of a contradiction, and that's actually its point. It has a short handle, and the shorter the handle on any kind of these striking tools, especially with a sharp blade or sharp bit on the end, is that the longer the handle, the more dangerous it is. You've got a bigger arc to hit something, a bigger radius, and you can generate a lot more speed. And when you lose control, it takes more to get it back under control. So, hence a splitting hatchet. You put a powerful head into a small package. There are others like this, which are there's one Estwing makes called I think it's Fireside Pal or something. I did a video on it a while ago. I don't have that one with me, but this is the one I had before. It's basically a really heavy-duty head on a very short handle. And just working with this thing, just almost letting gravity drop it, especially if it's razor sharp, just makes short work of kindling. I'll show you in a second. And here's Stihl's entrance into this. They make excellent, or rebrand, I guess, excellent axes. I'm not even sure how to pronounce that. I've heard it all kinds of different ways. This is the axe company, or actually they make a lot of striking tools, pry bars, things in Germany. And this particular one has a fairly wide head, so that makes it a splitting hatchet. Short handle with a very wide head. They do approach the head differently than the Swedes. So the Germans on this side have more of a linear expansion, whereas Swedes in this case are maintaining almost a traditional hatchet width and then a rapid expansion here. So they do perform a little bit differently. This will sink into the wood, and I actually like that better. This starts to try to pry the wood almost immediately, which means it often takes a little bit of extra force to get that initial plunge into the wood, whereas the reason you wouldn't want something like this, maybe on a full-on splitting maul, is just simply you're striking with too much force, so you don't need to have it stick right away. But I'll show you how that works. So if I'm taking let's say I've got a little quarter here, I'll use the Stihl first. What happens with the Stihl when I strike this is it bounces off usually until I get it deep enough to stick in, and then I can work through my split. Granfors Bruk, on the other hand, sticks in almost immediately and then allows me to strike to split that out. So it's a difference in performance, difference in behavior. Let's talk cost. Well, the Granfors Bruk sells now for around $220, which is pretty bizarre, for something. The prices have gone up on these pretty crazily. I got this up in Alaska, partially because I could handle it, see it, feel it in the store, versus ordering something online, which, by the way, they're hard to find online too. But anyway, also I got to see the grain. Very, very nice, straight, symmetrical forging. Sometimes they can get off a little bit because they're hand forged. There are videos online about how they make these, and it's pretty amazing to see that they're so fast. But this one, I think these were around 50, something like that, maybe a little bit more. This is a very heavy handle. It's like a super overbuilt hatchet. That's what it feels like. The handle, just look at the size comparison between those two. if you have narrowed down your hatchet needs for something like this, I would recommend, you know, trying one of these out. They're pretty amazing once you kind of get the hang of them. But also, these are amazing just to have near your campsite. If you watch this, move these down, grab a little round or a little piece here to make some kindling, and they just blow right through it. But you can't chop with that. You can't delimb with that. I mean, it's like a sledgehammer with a blade. So anyway, I'd recommend one of those for your camp area. But then something, if you want to prepare, you know, plenty of kindling, these kinds of splitting hatchets are pretty amazing. And with that, Doc out.